attention and holistic support services. And then, Barry, I know you mentioned just a little while ago that you are a father of some college students. I'm a mother of a soon-to-be college student. And so I just think about the fact that it's a great time at any point, whether you've got teens at home, certainly you've got college students here. They might be freshmen, they might be seniors. That this information will be relevant wherever they are in their academic journey.
That's right. I'm not just the host of the webinar tonight. I am watching for information. Now, my sons are not here at Virginia Tech, but I will say we hear from a lot of families who will say that my student breezed through high school and then got to college academics and hit a wall. Same thing with my sons. They breezed through high school, and one son got to college level child psychology and you know, and then my other son got to college level chemistry, and they really needed to seek out the support services at their respective institutions. So this is a fantastic topic. We know that you're out there, families. So
Great. So today we're going to talk a little, whoops, let's see, flew by that one. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the transition to college. What are some of the things that, happen to students that can hang them up? We're going to talk about identifying the source of academic struggle, because that's an important point in terms of helping them to get the support that they need. We're going to be sort of talking about some tips for supporting students through struggle, unpacking some myths that students have around the learning process, and then finally talk a little bit about the Student Success Center services as well as other resources that can help your student across campus. So to begin with, the transition to college. I just wanted to remind the audience out there just how hard the transition from high school to college is. We tend to assume that students know exactly what they need to do when they arrive. And the truth is that it's one of the biggest transitions that they have in their life. So in high school, there's a lot of parental support. They have explicit assignments and consequences of doing them or not doing them. The assignments are much smaller. Usually, they have daily reminders to do these assignments. They have frequent contact with their teachers, often daily. And there are rules. There's rules at school, there's rules in the household. And so they're functioning sort of on a daily basis within a set of rules. In college, things are really different. They have a whole lot of freedom. They have their own self schedules and they're moving throughout, the day with their own schedule in mind. There are larger and less clearly defined projects and assignments. Everything is laid out in the syllabus, and the faculty member may or may not share the upcoming assignments that are due. They're expected to know and understand that as a syllabus and know when things are due. Instead of having regular contact with teachers, they're expected to go to faculty office hours to get their questions answered. And of course, there's all kinds of choices throughout the day. And so it's things that are as simple as, should I engage in the impromptu frisbee game on the way to class? So they're faced with these choices all the time, and it requires a high level of executive functioning skills. And in addition to just the pieces that I've talked about today in terms of the transition in their academics, they're also on their own managing their laundry, maybe their own medication, making sure that they eat and they exercise and they get good sleep. And so there's lots of balls that they're juggling and can often need support in that process. So this is a common cartoon that you might have seen. And it sort of reminds me of the student journey. They come in the fall, and their plan is just sort of this smooth, easy ride. And what we know, in fact, is that that is not reality. That throughout the semester, even if they've been an excellent student in high school, that they're going to hit bumps and boulders and challenges along the way. And so you are probably hearing from your students about times when things are going well and times when things are really rocky. And I'm so glad that Barry asked me to do this presentation now because we also teach an academic skills course through the Student Success Center. And it's the time of the year that we're hearing from a lot of students around, midterms are coming up. They're having more tests. There's more expectations as they end the semester to manage larger projects. And so the stress levels are increasing and they need more support than they did perhaps at other times. So, just some quick conversation tips that um, I want to talk about before we get into some myths around academic support and some resources that are available to students is that often you're going to be the first person that maybe your student might tell that they're struggling, that they need some help. And so, really, what they're looking for is a listening ear. And so, we encourage you to listen with empathy and non-judgment and, that confirmation that it's normal to struggle. While you're in college, and that you're so glad that they reached out and they shared that. It's important to ask good questions, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that as we get into helping to build student confidence. But asking open-ended questions. So I always think about the what and how questions, like what if I and how if I your questions, because those open-ended questions help them to build their awareness around the situation and also get them involved in the solution. So you're asking questions around what ideas do you have? What have you done so far? What are some of the resources that you can tap into? Um, and you're being supportive. You're acknowledging and communicating what they're and acknowledging the communication around their feelings, and you're pointing out the consequences of their behavior calmly from an observational perspective. You might even ask them a little bit about pros and cons of getting support or not getting support. Give them options in terms of resources. What would be most helpful to you? You could see faculty office hours. You could come to the Student Success Center and let them choose, what path they want to engage in terms of getting support. So, through that listening ear, asking those open-ended questions and being supportive, we want to get to the point of identifying what's the source of the struggle. And so, typically, there are sort of these three main buckets where students might struggle around. One is their confidence. Sometimes they might see themselves as the only one struggling in a classroom. And so they're comparing themselves to their peers. And so they may not believe that they can be successful. Another piece is they may struggle with the content in the course. And so that's a little bit different from, believing that they can do it. It's that they really just need support around the concepts in a class, or they need assistance with keeping up with the course material because it's going too fast. And then the third area is that they're struggling with strategies. And that sort of brings me back to the transition slide again. And that's really, it's not about academic performance. It's not just about a struggle in one subject, but it's around academic skills that cut across subjects. So it's things like time management or test taking, or things like note-taking skills. And so we'll get into some supports that also um, help to address those needs with students. So we're going to get into strategies for support in those three areas: confidence, content, and strategies. And so starting with confidence, a common misconception that students have is that they're either good at something or they're not good at something. And so, the reality is that we can all get better at anything with effort and good strategies. And so many of you out there might be familiar with the concept of growth mindset. And growth mindset is the belief that a person's ability can be improved through effort and learning rather than being fixed or innate. And research has proven that we can all grow and learn. And believing in that capacity further boosts effectiveness because we're more willing to keep trying. And so it's really a central factor in a student's academic resilience. Students, when they understand that they can get better at anything with effort and good strategies, they're more likely to challenge themselves. They're more likely to have a belief that they can achieve more. They're more resilient. They're more creative problem solvers. And so the confidence piece is the piece that will most likely come up in conversations with students that you as a parent can address. And so you might hear things that sound like a fixed mindset. You might hear things like, I'm not good at it. It's too hard. I can't do it. I'm just going to fail at this class. Or I've never been a math person, or dot, dot, dot. It can be anything that in that area. I've never been someone that can do public speaking. So, students often come with that mindset of I can or I can't do things. And I'll try, but I get frustrated and give up. So any of this type of language gives you an indicator that it's a confidence issue, right? There's a fixed mindset here. So as a parent, you can shift these comments to a growth mindset. And the way that you can do that is just to encourage that time and effort, that sense of they can do it by putting in that additional time and effort and practicing. So it might sound something like, this will take some time and effort. You're learning and improving every day, or making mistakes will help you improve. One of my favorite ways to combat the fixed mindset is using the word yet. So you can't do it yet, but with practice, you will, or you can. And so you can really add yet onto any of the fixed mindset statements you have. Well, you can't do math yet, right? Or equations yet. But with practice, you can get better at it. You can ask those open-ended questions that encourage time and effort. What new strategies can you try? What can you learn from your mistakes? What will help you practice more? What resources can help you? How can you approach things differently? And then one of my favorite questions is just asking sort of permission. Would you be willing to get some support from the Student Success Center or from your faculty? But asking them so that they have a sense of control. Would you be willing? The second area I told you is content, right? So someone that is struggling with the content in the class. A common misconception that students have is, I don't have time to get help. They think actually getting some content support takes away from the time that they have to work. And the reality here is that seeking tutoring or even going to faculty office hours is a more efficient way to learn. So research shows that tutoring provides personalized attention, tailored instruction based on your learning needs, immediate feedback, and a dedicated space to address weaknesses. And so we want to shift that language when they say, I don't have time to get help, to encourage them to think about it as a more efficient way to learn. The time spent in tutoring can boost understanding, it can boost confidence, and it can boost overall academic performance more quickly. So many of you might already be familiar with the Student Success Center peer tutoring program, but it's a great way to get support around content. It's a personalized learning support to clarify concepts and skills. Students can get help from our peer tutoring program in different ways. They can make individual appointments, and that's in a one-on-one setting in the Student Success Center or online. Or there are weekly drop-in sessions available where a team of tutors will be in a class and they're scattered throughout campus and they can just drop into the session. And what I like about the individual appointments versus the drop-in sessions, it gives students choice on how to get content support. So if you're someone that really wants to take a deep dive and work directly with an one-on-one with a tutor, that's an option. If you're someone who wants to kind of casually drop in to a classroom setting, maybe learn from others, but not be as active in the tutoring session, then a drop-in session might be best. Our tutors all successfully complete the courses that they support at Virginia Tech. Um, and so they are deeply familiar with the course content. On the Student Success Center, our website lists all courses that we currently support. There's about 100 courses, so we don't actually tutor all of them, but we do try to cover our largest courses, courses that cross over amongst majors, courses where there may not be support in other areas around campus. And so our website is a great place to go to look at that list. And then I just wanted to highlight that we have this new on-demand tutoring option, and that also is listed on our website. But it's a program called knack, where students can ask for a tutoring appointment in the moment. And there's a group of tutors on the other end that can accept or decline appointments. And so it allows us to expand our tutoring program beyond our office hours and allows for students to get more support at the times that they need. The last, area of need we talked about was strategies, right? So it's not necessarily the content they're struggling with, but they're struggling with effective learning strategies. And so a common misconception that you might hear from your student is, I should study a lot before tests so I don't forget anything. But the reality is that spaced out study is much more effective than cramming right before the exam. And so we know this because neuroscience has told us that forgetting actually helps us learn because remembering is a recall practice, and recall practices are highly effective. And recalling something that we forgot is hard, and so it requires high effort, which correlates with better understanding. So students should start early, they should plan out their studies. But the truth is that students often don't know effective learning strategies. And what worked in high school no longer works for them. And so part of it is helping to provide them with what's really going on in your brain. What is the neuroscience? What do really effective strategies look like? And so our coaching program and our seminar program are a great way for students to learn new concepts about how their brain works and what are more effective learning strategies. So at the Student Success Center, we offer peer academic coaching, which is a one-on-one partnership that helps students to develop their skills or performance through a collaborative, supportive, and non-directive partnership. So our students are trained in coaching skills in order to support students around learning more effective study strategies and building their skills. Um, and they are they serve all majors and all years. And you may want to refer your students if they need support with, again, effective study strategies, overcoming procrastination. And I will say that becomes a big one as we come up towards final projects, final exams. There's a lot going on. There's also competing events and activities. And so there's plenty of things to do to procrastinate. So that's a great one I would recommend. Time management, test taking skills, reading strategies, note taking skills, and goal setting. We also have an ongoing seminar series on academic success. And I just want to note that these seminars are also posted on the Hokie Family Hub. And so if you're getting that communication, it can be really timely just in terms of, something comes up in your conversation with students to also direct them to a seminar that would best fit their needs. Our seminars include effective learning strategies, making it through the final stretch. And again, that's a great one as we get into November. Please encourage them to go to that one. We have courses on mastering online and technology-based classes, overcoming procrastination, reading and note-taking skills, test-taking skills, and then we have a time management boot camp, excuse me. And so the time management boot camp, all of these actually happen throughout the semester. So I always joke that the students that need the time management boot camp the most usually miss it. And so, it will appear mid-semester, late semester. And so please take advantage of it. Know that even though they may be progressive in your mind, that we do offer them throughout, and there's a reason for that. We want students to have the skills throughout the semester. The seminar series, the dates, the locations are listed on our website. And so that's a great way also to just kind of know where they are and for your student to know that too. So hopefully you've got at least some new talking points about, where students might struggle, how you can direct them to resources. And so I just want to recap a little bit about our services as well as what they can find across campus. So just a reminder around our services, we have tutoring, individual and drop-in sessions, in person or virtual, and we have an on-demand option. And so again, our goal is to meet students where they are. If they want to stay home in their PJs, they can get a virtual tutoring appointment. If they'd rather come in and visit our beautiful Success Center in Gilbert Place, they can do that as well and meet with someone one-on-one. We have peer academic coaching appointments. They're scheduled through Navigate, through our individual sessions. And I will also say, in terms of tutoring, our individual and drop-in sessions, in person and virtual, are also scheduled through Navigate. The on-demand option is scheduled through NAC. So Navigate is one of our big platforms in terms of our services. It's also the same platform, if you're not familiar with it, where students are making advising appointments. So they should be familiar with that scheduling software.
All right,
And then
Christina,
finally,
I gotta interrupt you here because
yeah,
this is all well and good, but let me ask the hard questions here. How much does that tutoring service cost?
I'm so glad you asked because it's absolutely completely free.
Wait, wait,
Um,
wait, 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 wait.
you heard me
Nothing's
right.
free. No, what about peer academic coaching?
Same thing, absolutely free.
Okay.
And our seminars too. And so it is, we always tell people it is just best practice to get support. And what we find actually is that our best students are using our services because they know that it's just good to talk to somebody about the content of their classes or to employ, better learning strategies. A few other support resources just that you should be aware of because sometimes, students will reach out and they'll be taking a unique class that we don't offer tutoring support for. And so, we do want to remind them about the support resources across campus as well. Faculty office hours are always a great way to get support. That's why they're there. And so we encourage students to go to their faculty office hours, to know where they are, when they are, to put them into their schedule. Um, and same thing with either teaching assistant office hours or graduate assistant office hours. Depending on the course, they might have multiple ways to get support through the faculty, graduate assistant, or teaching assistant. The Writing Center is located in the library. They're a great resource for anyone that's writing anything from, paper in class to research. The Writing Center can help. Um, Departmental or college-based resources, lots and lots and lots of departmental or college-based resources are available. A couple that come to mind are there's the Math Lab, there's the Com Lab, and so those are great ways to get support. And then also other peers in the course. And navigate the platform that I told you about recently, that is where students do their scheduling and how they can get a Student Success Center tutoring or peer academic coaching appointment, also has on their app a study buddy feature where you can say that you're looking for a study buddy in one of your classes. And that's a great way to find a peer in the course so that you can talk through material or information. In wrapping up, I just want to mention, and I'll give you just a minute too, if you have any other questions, please feel free to put them into the Q&A, and I'll make sure that I answer them. But I did want you to be aware of our website. It's www.studentsuccess.vt.edu. You can also email us anytime. We have a general email inbox at studentsuccess@vt.edu. And certainly your students can reach out too if they're not finding what they need on our website. We have an Instagram page as well, and we post all of our student success seminars and various events that are happening in our office through that. We're located in Gilbert Place on the second floor. It's on the same floor as academic advising, as Cook Counseling. So I always tell people that it's a great way to kind of get all your needs met at once. But Gilbert Place is a fairly new building. I like to tell people that it's across from Starbucks because they always know where Starbucks is. Um, and then the phone number is there, so feel free to reach out if you need anything as well, just in terms of general information. Okay, I'm seeing some questions pop in, Barry.
Yeah, so I've been answering a few of them in my limited capability, but we have a good question about the question is, are there adults to support students with diagnosed learning differences? I assume what the questioner means is like faculty folks.
Yeah, great question. So within the Student Success Center, all of our work in terms of academic support services is peer-to-peer. There are great resources around, adults or professionals for students. that have a learning difference. The students, um, I'm trying to, the SSD, which is what they commonly refer to it, Services for Students with Disabilities, is a great place to talk to a counselor around what are some of your learning needs. We also have an agreement with SSD, where if your student does have a diagnosed disability and they would like priority tutoring or coaching, they can do that by working with their accommodations coordinator. All of our peers are trained in neurodiversity. They're trained in strategies for working with students with learning differences. And so you can be assured that they do have a toolbox of information in terms of both how to interact and also what are some of the unique sort of needs around that.
All right, where do students find the Study Buddy app?
Yes, on the Navigate app. So all of the students, this is a new this year, the Navigate app. And so there is a button on there called Study Buddy, and they can just click right in.
What's the difference between NAC and SSC tutoring? Do all in-person tutoring sessions, other than the writing lab, mentioned that at the library, does it all take place at Gilbert Place?
Yeah, great question. So, our services at the Student Success Center are both virtual and in person. Um, Most of the NAC tutoring happens virtual, although there are some designated spaces on campus for that. The main difference is that the Student Success Center tutoring, the tutors are trained within the Student Success Center, and that they need to schedule an appointment ahead of time. NAC is on demand. And so students can get support outside of the student success hours. And there are some courses that are not supported through the Student Success Center that can be supported through NAC. So it helps to kind of expand the course offerings.
Okay, a student who needs help planning the assignments, would that be considered coaching?
Yes, peer academic coaching, you've got it.
All right, how about a repeat of that Study Buddy system?
Yeah, it's on the Navigate app. So all students, at least incoming students, should have downloaded that upon their arrival here. And there's a button called Study Buddy on it. So it's just one of the features in the new Navigate app.
Okay, kind of diving into the courses that you support, and if a family member or student who says his classes aren't offered at the Success Center, and that because they're offering more general classes, and
Mhm.
he or she is in a very more specific course, what are the options in that situation?
Yes, great question. Because again, we do tend to cover mostly 1,000, 2,000 level courses, more general courses. And so if they are in an upper level course too, you might find this. Um, I always encourage them to utilize faculty office hours to meet with their TA or their graduate assistant, and also to ask their faculty what sort of support is available, because there may be course specific support, there might be departmental support, but there's often other resources available.
Yeah, here's something I've learned in my role in talking to families is that, and I didn't know until I took this job, is that office hours are a requirement of professors, and
Mhm.
they're required that's a box they have to tick. So yes, absolutely, students, go talk to your teachers, go talk to your professors, spend time with
Yes.
your TAs.
And they want to help. And so, it's just a good practice to prepare yourself, right? To think about what sort of questions do you want answered prior to going, and then go and get your questions answered.
One of my favorite parts of your website is where you get to meet the tutors. And they have
Yes.
little photos and descriptions. So we have a question: are the tutors current Virginia Tech students? Maybe you can say a little bit about
Yes.
that.
They are. All of the tutors are current Virginia Tech students. Student Success Center tutors have to be um, uh, recommended from their faculty. They also are required to have a specific GPA. They go through robust tutor training. And I will also say that many of you out there might also be thinking about, you know, your student, and they might be a great tutor. So we offer a lot of jobs in the Student Success Center as well. And so if they have areas of strength, we always do our hiring in the spring. And so we will tend to post information about the hiring process in February. And we would love for you also to refer your student if you think that they would make a good tutor for us or a peer academic coach.
Well, I have been frantically posting your links and website links into the webinar chat. So, attendees, if you haven't opened up your chat, get in there, edit, copy, paste it over to a Word document or to your email. A couple quick semantics. Those of you who are in attendance, unless you are an anonymous attendee, we're going to send you an email with the transcript as well as the Q&A answers and the chat. And we'll also, I'm going to try to figure out a way to attach it as a document to the original Hokie Family Hub post. Christina, will you be able to share the slides with me as like a PDF document?
Yes,
And then
absolutely. I'd be happy to.
that's great. And then we're going to attach that to the post also. Okay. One more question just came in. Do student academic advisors talk to the student about all these options for support?
Yes, they absolutely do. So all of our advisors are aware of services, and also might be even more aware of those departmental resources. So those courses that may not be supported by the Student Success Center.
Excellent. Okay, well, we're at 6:41. Oh, it looks like we've come to the end of the questions. So here's where I do ask anybody who's watching who feels the need to I need I need affirmation. And I really want to thank Christina for your time tonight and for sharing this. I know that the families are very appreciative of it. So families, throw a thank you in the Q&A, throw a shout out to the fantastic Christina for helping us. And we're just so thankful that you families are making the effort to support your student. Your student is the captain, is in the driver's seat of this academic journey. However, you as a family member are still very important to your student success. And by attending this webinar, learning about what's available, you can nudge your student into those directions of seeking out those resources. It is your student who has to get those resources. You can't do it for them. But now that you know about it, you're better equipped to do it. Christina, any final word for folks who are watching?
Um, Thank you so much for coming because I do think that this is a big part of the process right now. You know what sort of resources are available. And so, holidays are always a good time. I imagine with Thanksgiving coming up and some of the holidays that these conversations will be coming up. And so please refer them to us. We love to see your students in the Student Success Center.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here tonight, for taking some time. Christina, thank you so much once again. Folks, this video will be up within the week, early next week sometime. Takes a long time to process that transcript. All my mumbling doesn't translate very well. Thank you very much, everybody. Christina, thank you so much. And let's go
Hokies!
Hokies.